All right, waiver wire wide receivers. This list is actually thin for 12-team leagues. Could get a little bit deeper if you wanted to go, for deeper receivers, or maybe if it's a more shallow league. But I really wanted to address just like receivers in 12-team leagues that I'm looking to pick up. First one is Greg Dortch, who Kyler Murray came out and said he thinks that Greg Dortch is always open, which is a weird thing to say, especially when he threw to double coverage and Greg Dortch is like 5'7", 5'6", however fucking tall he is. And Marvin Harrison's wide open on the other side. But Greg Dortch, obviously going to be a big part of this receiving game, is a floor play weekly, a 5 to 6 catch guy in PPR league. So this isn't the standard league where you can get a lot of yards and touchdown. You're just playing this to get like that 10-point floor, 5 catch, 50-yard type floor that you can get at flex. So not a play that I love, just one that I think needs to be rostered in 12-team leagues. He obviously has a little bit of value there for the Cardinals. Next up, Wan'Dale Robinson, very similar type player, a small receiver that just sees a lot of volume, saw 12 targets, has 6 catches in the passing game. Obviously, Daniel Jones being the quarterback, he's trying to get as many easy looks as he can, and it's not going well. But Wan'Dale Robinson is a beneficiary of that to the tune, 6 catches, 44 yards. So not a lot to love production-wise. It's a volume play. That's 10 points in PPR leagues. So Wan'Dale Robinson is a name that I don't love, but I think he has value, and you should pick him up in a 12-team league if you're looking for bench options. 2 names that may or may not be available in your 12-team leagues, but I would still recommend picking them up if they are. Brandon Cooks is one of them. You can drop, some of those other fringe receivers or running backs that you had on your bench that didn't perform. Brandon Cooks was a top 40 receiver last year. I want to say he was a top 40 receiver, so he was a flex-worthy option all season long last year, and I think he was undervalued this year. Even with CeeDee Lamb, he was holding out. So we actually were still devaluing Brandon Cooks because there was a potential that CeeDee Lamb was going to hold out. But Brandon Cooks deserves to be on rosters, and this is more of a bye-week flex type play. Unless you're in a super deep league where you start like 2 or 3 flexes, then he can start. But for now, keep him on your benches. But he is a guy that has upside on a weekly basis. And then the last pickup, Demarcus Robinson, I talked about him leading up into the season. He's probably my favorite pickup this week. Out of every single pickup, he's my favorite pickup. But with the Puka Nacua injury, he's on IR. Puka Nacua is now on IR, and Demarcus Robinson has a really big opportunity to come in here and be a mainstay for this offense, at least through their bye week. I think it's week 6. So my guess is that I think 4 weeks is through week 6, right? That's the next 4 games. He'll be out through week 6. I'm pretty sure that's when their bye is. But Demarcus Robinson should be phenomenal in this offense. We know Stafford will get him the ball. We saw that last year, even when both receivers were healthy, Kupp and Puka Nacua. Demarcus Robinson was still seeing targets, seeing red zone looks, and scoring double-digit fantasy points on a weekly basis. So Demarcus Robinson can be doing that now for your fantasy teams, and I think he'll be a flex-worthy wide receiver 3-ish type play for you every single week until Puka Nacua is back. So we don't know if Puka Nacua is going to come right back after the bye or right back after his injury, or it's going to take him time to get back on the field. Demarcus Robinson is a player that I would not leave on waivers. If I was going to spend anything on him, it wouldn't be maybe more than 20% of my whole budget. If you have your whole budget fantasy-wise, fab-wise, maybe like 20% of it max. So I'm not a big fab spender, but that's a player that I would spend for because I think he's a every-week starter, at least until Puka Nacua comes back. And then as far as the tight ends go, there's only 2 that I think I would really want to pick up. There wasn't a whole lot of great tight end play this week, but Isaiah Likeley is a name that I think deserves, obviously, he's going to get picked up in a lot of leagues. People are going to spend on him. Just know that he's still in a timeshare, and that was just a game plan that worked for him. So be careful about overspending for Isaiah Likeley, even if you need a tight end. I think he might, obviously he's not going to do what he did week 1 every single week. But I think there's going to be some games where he looks regular or looks like a complimentary tight end instead of the tight end. So just be careful with spending too much for Isaiah Likeley or using a high waiver priority on Isaiah Likeley. The other one that's kind of sneaky, especially with Puka Nacua being out, is Colby Parkinson. I don't think he offers a ton of upside, but he could be a tight end too for your team. And it just depends, like on your need. I don't think I'd want to start him unless I was in a 16-team league. But Stafford was looking his way. They had some design plays for Colby Parkinson. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get a couple end zone looks here over the next few weeks while Puka's out. Another deep name, if you're looking for one, Foster Moreau was heavily involved with the Saints, had 4 catches, had a touchdown. So a lot of people were looking at Taysom Hill as the option, including myself. Taysom Hill obviously offers a ton of upside and will get looks, but I think Foster Moreau will be a bigger part of the offense than we all anticipated. He wasn't even being drafted as a top 30 tight end. So Foster Moreau is another name to keep your eye on. Oh, and then tonight, a lot of people were probably looking at Alan Lazard as well. He played well tonight, 2 touchdowns, but I'm not like breaking the bank for Alan Lazard or banking on an Alan Lazard bounce back. But there was, Aaron Rodgers did say he looked like the old Alan Lazard. So we will see about that. Anybody else I missed? Oh, Alec Pierce. Good job. Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce as well. So, damn, I forgot to talk about Alec Pierce and about A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell is probably rostered in a lot of leagues, but A.D. Mitchell is another player who he needs to be on rosters, even in 10-team leagues. Anthony Richardson was looking his way, missed him on 2 opportunities. I expect more of those to hit. And I think him and Alec Pierce are probably pretty interchangeable, especially in the short term while Josh Downs is out. Alec Pierce is probably going to be the more volatile of the 2 options. But Alec Pierce deserves to be picked up in 14-team leagues or deeper. I don't necessarily like him in 12-team leagues unless you're just thin at receiver. I think he's going to be one of those players like a Gabe Davis type where one week he's going to pop off and then we don't see him for another 2-3 weeks. And then we see a big touchdown out of him. Like, I'd be careful with Alec Pierce, but obviously Anthony Richardson likes him. He likes A.D. Mitchell. And I'm sure Michael Pittman is going to get better at some point this year. But yes, A.D. Mitchell is my preferred pickup if I was looking at both him and Pierce. Pierce was better in the box score. A.D. Mitchell, to me, had the better looks.